Doesn't something bother you about what the Canadian government is doing? Tomorrow, June 27th, the most dangerous piece of legislation in recent Canadian history will go to third reading in the Senate. The Senate is the last line of defense with the power to reject and amend this bill at third reading, and the odds of them doing this are high enough that our calls just might tip the scales. They're not used to getting lots of phone calls. If you'd like to exercise your power, I'm here to make it easy for you. Here is how to contact your senators, read about what the feds are up to, and some things to say if you're calling about C-5 in particular. Part 1. Contacting your senators. Step 1. Open this link from the description and click on List. Step 2. Have a look at the senators and click on a few who you want to contact. Consider whether they were appointed by Trudeau or Harper, and their affiliation with the Independent Senators Group, Progressive Senate Group, or Canadian Senators Group. Step 3. Open the pages for the senators you're contacting and use that email address or phone number. They rarely get phone calls, so your voice will have a big impact. Your call will probably go to voicemail, and if not, to one of their staffers, so don't worry about having a conversation. Just speak your concerns and tell them exactly what would satisfy those concerns. Part 2. Reading about federal bills. From the Senate website, you can hover over in the chamber and click on Bills Before Parliament, or visit this link, also in the description. You can view bills, see how far they are along, and open them to view the exact text of the bill. The Overview tab shows bills recently introduced by senators or parliament members, and bills that are on today's agenda. Go to the Bills tab to see all of the bills. This is the place to read the text of C5, C2, and other confusingly worded omnibus bills to get a sense of what's actually being proposed. There's also some good legislation in there, so you can have a look at that as well. Part 3. The problem with Bill C-5. It is an omnibus bill giving the federal government the ability to arbitrarily decide projects in the national interest and override provincial consent, Indigenous consent, and nearly all environmental laws. Omnibus bills combine multiple things that should be separate legislation. In this case, Bill C-5 is an act containing two acts: the Free Trade and Labour Mobility in Canada Act, which is a policy to remove interprovincial trade barriers, and the Building Canada Act, the problematic component. The Building Canada Act starts off with, "We will protect the environment and honor the legal rights of Indigenous peoples," in the non-binding preamble explanation for the legislation. In plain English, this is the bill. We will protect the environment and respect Indigenous rights. Anyways, we are authorizing ourselves to authorize pipelines, mines, and whatever else we want, even if current rules or people say that we can't. The Act bypasses the Fisheries Act, Migratory Birds Convention Act, Canadian Environmental Protection Act, Species at Risk Act, Canadian Energy Regulator Act, Impact Assessment Act, Wildlife Area Regulations, Marine Mammal Regulations, Metal and Diamond Mining Effluent Regulations, which are there to prevent mines from contaminating everything, and more. The clause about provincial consent does not apply unless the project falls exclusively within provincial jurisdiction. The clauses about Indigenous consultation are just that, consultation, with no requirement for free, prior, and informed consent. After an amendment, the Building Canada Act no longer overrides the Indian Act, which legislates reserves among other things, but the Indian Act does not recognize all Indigenous territory or all Indigenous voices. Consider the RCMP invasion of Wet'suwet'en territory, where the legally recognized Band Council approved the Coastal GasLink pipeline, but the traditional government, which existed long before colonization, did not consent to CGL using their land. If we pass Bill C-5, Bill 5 in Ontario, and Bill 15 in BC, there will be more polarizing conflicts like this than you can count on your hands. Instead of working with the government to do things that improve the lives of all Canadians, environmental and Indigenous activists will be busy grinding against the machine in every which way. Chiefs are vowing that they will use the courts to fight this legislation. This will backfire hard for the Liberals and for everyone. The Liberal government has made it very clear that they intend to use this legislation for pipelines. I get it. People want a strong economy. They want quick wins. A pipeline will achieve none of these things. If you build an economy on resources that are destructive to life on Earth, you will have to tear it down in the next decade or two to address climate change. But you can't build an economy on these resources anymore. If a private company isn't proposing a pipeline, there is no way it will be profitable for the government to run the same thing. Doubling down on oil and gas is a regressive policy from a climate change perspective and an economic one. So to wrap up, what do we want to see from Bill C-5 before it is passed? At a minimum, I would like a clear exemption of oil and gas projects from this legislation. If I were policymakers, I would respect what the AFN is asking the government to do with Bill C-5. Senators must keep voting this bill down until it is no longer fundamentally flawed. Hopefully, some of the points that I've raised just now help you when calling or emailing the senators that you choose. I made this message out of hope for a better Canada. We have fascist neighbors, American corporations attempting to buy out our country, NATO spending targets, social, economic, and environmental crises. We have a lot of problems, and an arguably visionary government with the ability to solve them. Simply exporting resources can only do so much, and in many cases, it will backfire hard. I want this government to invest in projects that improve everyone's lives for the long term, like high-speed rail, clean energy, and more housing, to name just a few. Thanks for watching. Now, if you haven't already, replay those instructions and help our senators do the right thing and stand on guard for thee.